Rocky Mosley came from a fighting family as both his father and grandfather were professional boxers. Born in Riverside, California, he grew up in Las Vegas. He got his start in boxing at the age of 9, going to the local YMCA to learn the sport. His father didn't encourage him to follow in his footsteps, but eventually took Junior under his wing. He was my first sparring partner, Mosley Jr. said. He was pretty tough and used to bang me around. During his high school years, Mosley Jr. expressed his career aspirations of becoming a doctor. His dreams of entering the medical field were supported by his high school counselor and his grandmother, but financial constraints prevented him from entering college. Instead, he turned to professional boxing at the age of 18. Meanwhile, his 40-year-old father still campaigned in the sport and had numerous brushes with the law. He was arrested in a high-speed chase where he was suspected of trafficking marijuana. Controversy continued to follow the elder fighter, as in December of 1971, the government promised to drop white slavery charges against him if he agreed to cooperate in the prosecution of the alleged fight-fixing promoter George Chimaris in Washington state. The 157-pound Mosley stated that he had over 17 pounds of lead placed into his athletic supporter so he could make weight for a fight against light heavyweight Larry Buck. Mosley Sr. testified that Chimaris paid him $250 to throw the fight and last just 5 rounds. Mosley lasted 3, while Chimaris was later acquitted of the charges. Mosley Sr. campaigned until the age of 42, appearing on a fight card in his son's second pro fight. Junior won his bout by second-round KO, while Sr. lost his fight by knockout. Both father and son were managed and trained by Stan Tischler. The father wasn't as dedicated as the son is, Tischler said, as Mosley Jr.'s career got off to a great start with 15 straight wins. Tischler expressed his ambitious plan to match Mosley Jr. against the reigning champion Carlos Monzon in the near future. Mosley Jr. received his first televised date in March of 1977 as he entered Don King's United States Middleweight Championship tournament. He faced Johnny Baldwin, a former amateur star, whose sole defeat came at the hands of the legendary Marvelous Marvin Hagler just a few months prior.
Baldwin scoring occasionally, but not much either. Good left! Baldwin floors Rocky Mosley. The 19-year-old goes to the floor. The left came from nowhere. I cautioned in the second round that you must stay when you're fighting a southpaw. Oh, he's rubbery leg now. He's ready to go, trying to fight back. You must keep your legs outside the southpaw's right foot while you face that explosive left. Baldwin trying to finish him off. And right now, Larry Barrett is taking a look. No, says, wanted to take a look at Mosley to make sure he was all right. Could continue. Waves Baldwin back in. Third round action, middleweight fight. Out of nowhere, the fight came alive with a stunning left by Baldwin that floored Mosley, who is now just trying to hang on. Another good left to the head, then to the midsection by Baldwin. Mosley's beginning to get some movement back in his legs, but he's still against those ropes and taking punishment right above us. Hanging on now. Just hanging on. Third round action. Larry Barrett, the referee. Some think the fight could have been stopped and should have been stopped. But that's Barrett's judgment. He controls that fight while he's in the ring and the fight is on. No blood coming out of Mosley's nose or mouth. You see Mosley's legs, they're wavering. Now he's trying to get on the toes and move around. Baldwin just measuring him. Baldwin a little bit tired himself, kind of punched out from all of the blows he's rained upon Mosley during this round. Middleweight fight, third round action, U.S. Boxing Championship Series. Mosley's getting some movement back, even though he's against the ropes. Seems to sense where he is now. Trying to use the left jab to keep Baldwin away. We have less than 30 seconds left in the third round, and Baldwin could not finish him off. When it looked like he had him, he couldn't put him away. We'll show you slow motion action of the knockdown at the end of this, the third round. Johnny Baldwin and Rocky Mosley. Fourth round action. So far, the whole fight took place in the third round with the knockdown of Mosley. First two rounds were terribly dull. Fourth round has not been exciting because Baldwin hasn't been able to find the situation again. On the other side of the corner, Mosley's been able to do nothing. Wait! They got him there! Just as I was saying that, Mosley got him with a left to the right jaw and just under the right jaw. And down went Baldwin. So out of nowhere, with Mosley doing nothing, along comes the big blow. Now Baldwin's in real trouble. Baldwin's not in possession of himself. Mosley showing sudden power. The whole trend of the fight suddenly turned around, and Mosley full of energy and pep now, and Baldwin defenseless as Mosley pours it on him right above us in the corner. Barrett is stopping the fight. Barrett is stopping the fight, and the 19-year-old from Las Vegas, Nevada, seemingly himself a beaten fighter, came back. Rocky Mosley Jr. Something that Rocky could not do in the movie Rocky. Sylvester Stallone couldn't do it. Now let's take a look in slow-mo at the first knockdown. Watch, Mosley had been doing nothing. And then the left, and Baldwin went down from that left. It came suddenly, and Baldwin was stripped of all fight within him because he couldn't recover possession of himself.
In Mosley Jr.'s next bout, he faced the undefeated Mike Colbert, who had knocked his father out 2 years earlier. The intriguing aspect of this matchup was the rarity of a fighter encountering both the father and son in their career. At the time, this had only occurred once before when Jersey Joe Walcott triumphed over Phil Johnson in 1936 and later defeated his son Harold in 1950. Mosley lost to Colbert like his father, but lasted the distance. In his next fight, he was stopped by Edgar Wallace and later decisioned by Larry Bonds and Mustafa Hamsho. His career seemed headed downhill until 1978, when professional poker player Billy Baxter won Mosley's contract in a card game. Mosley was mismanaged and mismatched, Baxter said. The new manager installed Johnny Tocco as the trainer, and Mosley won 5 straight until tragedy struck in October of 1978 when his father was shot and killed in a bar argument. Meanwhile, Mosley Jr. won the USBA junior middleweight title against Alvin Anderson, making 3 title defenses before losing to Nick Ortiz. He regrouped and later won the NABF junior middleweight title from Steve Delgado before defending that belt against the popular Rocky Fratto. 4 months later, Mosley Jr.'s career ended after he was stopped in one round by former sparring partner Chris Linson. Now, I don't know what became of Mosley's life after he left the boxing ring. A long while back, I had a friend of Mosley Jr. request a video on him, but I lost that fellow's contact information. Gmail isn't the greatest at organizing and finding messages, and I looked everywhere I couldn't find it. From what I can gather, Mosley Jr. moved to Washington State and later suffered from dementia. He went missing briefly in 2018, but was later found by the Spokane Police Department and returned home. Unfortunately, he died in December of 2022 at the age of 66. He was a popular fighter in the Las Vegas casino circuit in the late 1970s, early 80s, and was a mainstay in the junior middleweight rankings during that time period.